Yes, we are live. So today we are going to talk about the Taurus Ascendant. Yesterday I was simply not allowed by the universe to, be in front of you. But today we are starting with the Taurus Ascendant as series. In this live stream, we'll be covering the Taurus Ascendant and the planets and the best conjunctions and the best possible, combination of the planets. So when we first talk about the, by the way, and we are also going to cover the questions from the community tab, and then we can move on to the questions into the chat as well. So when we talk about the Taurus Ascendant, we have already made a couple of videos on the Taurus sign and the Taurus Ascendant and the second house Bhavat Bhavam. These videos will really help you to understand more about the Taurus sign. These videos will help you to have a overview or idea about the Taurus sign. Those who are into Vedic astrology know about this sign, but those who are just starting into Vedic astrology and want to know what the Taurus sign is really all about, you can go and watch those videos. That will help you to create the foundation, the understanding for the Taurus. So Taurus is the sign ruled by Venus, and which also has the second house significations with it. But today we are not going to talk about the characteristics of Taurus sign, but we are going to talk about the Taurus ascendant. And when I say ascendant, in your birth chart you will see the number 2 written into the first house. If you know the houses and the rashis, the numbers on your chart denotes the rashi, and houses are fixed. So depending upon your birth time, the number into the first house changes. And that's what is the ascendant. And what is the significance of ascendant? Ascendant determines all other planets and rulership. Suppose you have Aries ascendant, so it will make the Kyndra houses as 1, 4, 7, 10. But if you have Taurus ascendant, those will be 2, 5, 8, and 11. All the fixed signs now will be in the Kyndra houses. 2, 5, 8, and 11. Okay. So let us talk about all the planets for the Taurus ascendant. Let's start with the Kyndra house lord. Let's talk about Venus. Lagna lord is often considered as the best planet for that ascendant. Any ascendant, Lagna lord gives good results. But we also have to consider the Rashi ruled by that planet. Each planet except Sun and Moon rules 2 Rashis. For example, we have Taurus ascendant, Venus is ruling the first house, but we also have Libra somewhere into the Taurus ascendant. So we have Libra into the 6th house of the Taurus ascendant. So now Venus is ruling the first house as well as the 6th house of the horoscope. And now people often get confused whether this Venus will be good, bad, and how exactly will it perform. Okay, so this Venus will give mixed results because of the lordship of the Kendra and the trine lord into the first house, and it also rules the 6th house, which is about the obstacles, which is about the diseases, date. We don't like these significations, right? We want career, abundance, success, money, health. So Venus for the Taurus ascendant gives mixed results. But the association of Venus with the other planet can change the final interpretation for the Venus. Okay, let's talk about the next Kendra house, that is the Leo sign ruled by Sun. Now, Sun and Moon rules only one house. So for Taurus ascendant people, this is Sun is ruling the Kendra, the 4th house, and it's not ruling any other house. So when a malefic rules the Kendra house, it gives great results. Okay, but we also have to look for the rulership of the other Rashi. But in Sun's case, it rules only one Rashi, so it's going to give you good results. The next one is the Mars. Mars is ruling the 7th house and the 12th house. So Mars can be a challenging planet for Taurus ascendant. Why? Because it is ruling the 7th house, which is the house of, which is the Maraka Sthan, and it is also ruling the 12th house of expenses, of losses, and all the isolation and 12th house things. Okay, but again, the association of this will change it. The next Kyndra house is the Aquarius sign ruled by Saturn. Saturn is ruling the 9th house and the 10th house. So yes, this is the planet we are looking for. Saturn is the best planet for Taurus ascendant. Wherever it is placed into your horoscope, it will give you good results. And if it is associated with some other planet, we'll talk about them later, it will give you even better results. Okay, so these are the Kendra houses. And again, Saturn not only rules the Kendra house, the 10th house, but it also rules the trinal house, the 9th house. Okay, so that makes Saturn a Yoga Karaka planet for this ascendant and gives great result. In the Aries ascendant, we talked about the Mars as one of the trinal and angular lord. Here, Saturn is becoming the one with the trinal and angular lord. Okay, now let's talk about the angular. We talked about angular lords. Let's talk about the trinal lords for the Taurus ascendant. Taurus ascendant, the first is Venus. Venus is the Kendra lord as well as the trinal lord. Now the 5th lord and the 9th lord, 159 are the trine lords. So first is Venus, second is Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury. So Mercury becomes another trinal lord. And the next one is Saturn, as we discussed, the 9th lord, as it is ruled by Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Okay. Now, comment down below, what do you think would be the best combination for the Taurus ascendant? Okay, just like we discussed about the Aries ascendant, the best combination would be like Jupiter with Sun or Jupiter with Moon. Now, just what according to you would be the best combination of planets for Taurus ascendant? Okay, so let's look at this. There has to be the involvement of Saturn in these combinations. Okay, now let's look at one by one. Let's talk about the Saturn with Venus. If you have, if you're Taurus ascendant and if you have Saturn and Venus conjunction, like 9th lord and 1st lord conjunction in your chart, it will give you great results. And what kind of great results? Depending upon the lordship, like the 6th, 1, 6, 9, 10, and wherever it is placed in. If you have Venus and Saturn placed into the 11th house, where Venus gets the strength, or into the 10th house, where the Yoga Karaka Saturn gets into its own side. You have to look for these factors now. But as an independent planet, Venus and Saturn are going to give you good results based on the lordship. Now it's the combination of angle and trine lord. Okay, it doesn't mean that other planets won't give you. Any planet can give you the best results or best combination. It all depends upon the dasha. Okay, if you have Saturn and Venus combination, but you don't have any dasha of Venus or Saturn coming in, you only have the dasha of Jupiter or Moon, Sun, you will only have to be, rely upon the Antradasha, the shorter period. All this boils down to the dashas. The chart shows you the inherent nature and the potential of the planet. The yogas can tell you what and dashas can tell you when. You cannot tell when from the chart. You have to look for the dashas. The timing has to be derived from the dasha. Okay, but we're talking about the combinations. Venus and Saturn combination is a great combination. Another combination, which is the best combination for Taurus ascendant, is when the ninth lord conjunct with the fifth lord Mercury. Okay, now the Yogakaraka planet, the ninth lord, 10th lord conjunct the fifth lord. Now this combination becomes the best combination for Taurus ascendant. If you have Taurus ascendant and Mercury and Saturn conjuncts, it will give you great results. And then again, you have to fine tune it with the Rashi it is placed in, and the condition, strength, lordship, and the Vimshottari Mahadash. Okay, what if you have Mars and Venus conjunction? If you have Mars and Venus conjunction, Mars is the planet ruling the seventh house, and Venus is ruling the first house. Okay, and it is also ruling the 12th house of the horoscope. Now it changes the dynamic for this combination. Venus and Mars conjunction is a indication of a passionate relationship, but when 12th lord also gets involved into it, either it can bring in challenges into your relationship, because the seventh house is sixth from the 12th, and now 12th lord coming into the seventh house, but it goes into its own sign, Mars. See, things will go on changing. Okay, but this is one of the best combinations, I would say, to have a passionate relationship, and this can be challenging as well. Okay, now let's talk about what happens if you have Saturn and uh, Sun conjunction for Taurus ascendant. Saturn is ruling the ninth house and Sun is ruling the Kyndra house. It should be great, right? But these two are the enemy planets. They have the natural enmity. Saturn is the son of the sun, and with the temporal friendship, they can give you mixed results depending upon the sign it is placed in. Okay, if it is placed into the sixth house where Saturn gets exalted and Sun gets debilitated, it creates Nichbanga, and so on. If it's in the if it's in the Aries in the 12th house, things will change. Okay, so you have to look from all these perspectives. The next thing to look for is which combination we can consider. We talked about Venus Saturn, we talked about Mercury Saturn, we talked about Venus Mars, and okay, let's take the questions from the community tab, and let's see if we can get. Okay, we have so many questions here. Just a second. Vinit Raturi, sir, you never answered me about my query. I have Ketu in the Leo in the first house. In the for D9, we have to look for the D1 first. I told you. I think I have replied to you. I don't remember, but these Rahu, Ketu, or any other conjunctions, you have to look for the D1 first. D9 is nothing but the nakshatra placement of the planets in the D1 chart. Okay, I think Vinit, you have got your answer. Now let's take the questions from the community tab. Inara Tarot Poonam Thanki. Namaste, can you kindly let us know what kind of conjunctions can cause a divorce yoga in a Taurus ascendant Kundali? Is Mercury, Venus, and Sun conjunction in the fifth house is one of them? Thank you. Divorce yoga for Taurus ascendant. In fact, we have made a separate video on the divorce, the indication of divorce, and what kind of planets can bring in that. You can go and watch that video. And as far as your query, that's Mercury, Venus, and Sun conjunction. In fact, Mercury, Sun, and Venus conjunction will work great for the Taurus ascendant. Why? Because Sun is ruling the Kendra. Taurus, Venus is ruling the Kendra and trine, and Mercury is also ruling the Kendra and trine. There is no involvement of 6, 8, 12, 10, 7, nothing. So it will work great. Next, Divya, Taurus Ascendant, Saturn, Moon in 8th house. Are these two planets responsible for suffering and pain? Saturn and Moon. Saturn is a Yoga Karaka planet. Any planet conjunct or involved with this planet will give you good result. Now, for Taurus Ascendant, Moon rules the third house. Third house is the house of self-effort, but it doesn't rule any other house. And when it goes into the 8th house, third house is 8th from the 8th. So the third lord comes into the 8th house and conjunct the Yogakaraka planet, it will tend to give you mixed results. And she's asking whether it is responsible for suffering or pain. If I don't think so. If there is any involvement of the sixth house lord, then we can say that it can bring in pain. But again, the sixth lord is also the Lagna lord, so you have to analyze it thoroughly. Just don't jump to the conclusion. Just because it's sixth lord or eighth lord doesn't mean it's bad. You have to look for their associations. The next, again, Divya, Taurus, Ascendant, Mars and Venus. We talked about that. Varsha Sharma. Hi Prasad, what will be the effect of waning moon for Taurus Ascendant in Rohini Nakshatra first pada? Will it be as good as a moon trikon, or will it be bad since it's waning? There is no good or bad for this, but waning moon is considered as a weak moon. Okay, so but for Taurus Ascendant, it is the house of self-effort. So you might have to put in more effort, or you can also interpret it as like the third lord, which is the house of the self-effort, and it also can be a obstacle. Okay, so this house is weak, so you can interpret it as you might have less obstacles. But yes, you have to look for the waxing and waning of moon as well in all the ascendants. Ramesh Julka, how Sun, Venus, Mercury in 8th house going to affect in Sagittarius sign with Taurus Ascendant? When you have 3 planets into the 8th house, the trinal lord, the 4th lord, so now all these energies are into the 8th house. Rameshji, for what it shows is the 2nd house, 6th house, 5th house, 2nd house, all these energies, and the 4th house is coming into the 8th house. It shows you will have a inclination towards the mysticism, towards the things which are hidden, towards the occult. Okay, and all your life, because the first house is yourself, is going into the 8th house of the occult and mysticism. So you will be drawn towards the occult and mysticism and things hidden, the secrets you will look for. And when Mercury goes into the 8th house, you have a better understanding of those mystical signs. We have talked about this in Mercury in the 8th house video. Go and watch that video as well. Next is Subhash Biswas. Hi, can you please explain what will be the effect of Mars and Mercury conjunct in the 6th house for Taurus Ascendant in Mars and Mercury Dasha? Okay, let's discuss about Mars and Mercury. Mars and Mercury in the 6th house. Mars is ruling the 12th house and is going into the